and welcome to Gate to Wire. I'm Bruce Casella along with Danny Gibson. Hello, Danny.
Bruce, hey, how's it going?
Everything's great. We're going to have Danny Velazquez on in just a few minutes. Danny is a young trainer who's doing such a great job at Parks.
Yeah, I mean, he's really passionate. He grew up in horse racing.
I
Of
know.
course, his dad is Parks Hall of Famer Freddie Velazquez, but Danny kind of had a unique start. He started as a jockey, so he's got a really interesting perspective, and he's had some success. I can't wait to talk to him about it.
Yeah, same here. Well, we had a lot of trainers go out of town, the Laurel, Penn National, Monmouth Park, a lot of seconds, Butch Reed, John Service. Uriah St. Louis got the job done in the Merrifield Stakes.
Yeah, Monmouth Park. He was first with his filly Not Too Late. Sonny Leone got his 1,000th win, Kentucky Derby winning jockey Sonny Leone. Of course, he's famous for winning the Derby on Rich Strike. But
Yes.
Sonny used to ride here at Park, so he's got that connection with a lot of our Parks trainers. Lou Linder's filly Volleyball Princess made a really good effort for second. Alani got second in the Almond North for Mike Moore. Awfully Cool for Jacinto Solis. And Jeannie Marie for Butch Reed up in the Leaford Stakes at Penn National. So Parks horses were busy. They were driving all over and showing up in stakes races.
Man, how'd you remember all that? That's
Because I
great.
just watched all the races for Let's Go Racing.
The
It's
weather's
like
been,
I
go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, I have a great memory with horses.
Yeah, you do. It's been a little bit crazy with the weather. Last week
Oh,
you didn't race at all, and then you had to stop on Monday after race six because of severe thunderstorms.
yeah, the horses were in the paddock for quite a while. Luckily, it was older horses, so they were just calm, cool, and collected. But the wind was nothing I've ever seen here. We had crazy rain, and it created a lot of washouts on the track, so it wasn't safe to run after the storm. But might get another storm later this week, so we'll look out. But crazy weather here in Bensalem.
All right, well, let's bring in Danny Velasquez, shall we?
Let's do it.
Welcome, Danny. How are you, bud?
Doing awesome. How you doing, Bruce?
We're doing great. Danny,
Hi, Danny.
Danny and Danny, we're back together.
I'm getting all confused.
Yay!
We get to stand next to each other on the rail in the morning because our barns are next to each other,
Yeah,
so we get to catch up a
we
lot.
get yes, and people are like Danny, Danny. We both turn around.
I know.
It's okay.
So you've been in horse racing your whole life. You grew up in it. Your
Yes.
dad is a Hall of Fame trainer, but you started out as a jockey. How do you think that
Yeah.
experience shaped the kind of trainer you are and just a perspective you get with being able to communicate with the jockeys?
It gives me a lot of perspective. It will calm me down after watching maybe a race that I think might have been a bad ride because I know that it's split second decisions. Nobody goes out there trying to make mistakes and trying to mess up. So I forgive a lot easier than some other trainers when they get a so-called bad ride or a bad trip and all that. So yeah, I take that experience and even talk to my owners with more of an in-depth look at like, hey, we were in tight. The jock had nothing. He couldn't do anything because he was in XYZ spot. I have more of a thought process on that,
Yeah,
not
because
just
you've been
watching it on
out there.
TV. I've been out there. I've been out there. I didn't do it long. I did it for close to 5 years, but it was enough.
I want to go back to the Remsen Stakes, your first graded stakes. I think it was a grade two,
Yeah.
Brooklyn
Yep.
Strong. That was someday because you not only had Brooklyn Strong win that big stakes race, then you also had Lauban and a
On
prayer.
the prayer.
What was that day like for you?
Well, that was the first weekend, the first time I've ever even won a stake race, and I happened to win two that day in New York, and added a graded stake. So it was pretty wild. Um, it was a great experience for sure.
Yeah, I had
We got
video.
to try to run it back.
Yeah, really. I have video of you that someone took with their iPhone. You jumping around, going crazy up and down those
Oh yeah,
streets
yeah. You
in New
know who
York.
took that video? Kevin Bubster.
Well, we'll make sure we give him
You
credit
know
when I
him.
show it.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
did
yeah.
to the stars.
Yep, yep.
Um, so what's it like? So talking about Brooklyn Strong, what's it like watching one of your horses run in those big stakes? Are you nervous? Are you excited? Are you calm? Do you black
Yeah,
out?
just I kind of black out a little bit. It just gets overwhelming. When Yo-Yo Candy won the Sanford at Saratoga, he was like 30-1. I didn't expect that was in 2023. It was unexpected, obviously, and he goes and wins. That was a grade two, and I was like on cloud nine. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I just work hard, and you go there with an expectation to show up and not look like a fool, and at least try to win. And when you do win, it's like, whoa, I did it.
Yeah, it's hard to win.
Oh, this business is so hard. I'm going through a rough patch right now, but I just know it'll all turn. Eventually, stock quality will come back, and it's just, this business is not the easiest, but when you do have a good run, it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
How many horses do you have in your barn now, Danny?
17. I would love to get more. Just there's a little bit of lack of clientele right now, but that's okay. I'm okay with 17 horses. I got new babies that we bought in Ocala, so that's like kind of like the future. The last 2 years, last year wasn't good with the babies that I got. A lot of them got hurt and baby stuff. But this year I got 4 babies, and 2 of them seem like they got a little talent, and the other 2 seem okay. So the future is bright, I hope.
Well, you've developed some great horses, but you've done well with some cool older horses too, like Arch Cat. What are those horses like? I mean, they kind of get you going, and they gave you confidence that, like, look, I can do this. I can train horses, develop horses.
Yeah, horses like that I'll never get to train them again because they're the old hard knockers, and with the new rules, high sell around, it's hard to get an old hard knocker back to the races because now it's like we retire them sooner than before. So, yeah, it does give you confidence because you build on that, right? You're like, if I can train a horse that has all these issues, I can train a good one, right? So it does give you a big boost. Yeah, it's exciting.
Are you always learning?
Of course.
Training?
Every day you learn something. I mean, you'll never stop learning, especially in this business. This business will drive you crazy. Horses will do things that you've never seen before, or things will happen to them that you've never seen before. You start realizing there's ailments that you didn't even hear of until now. Like it's insane. But yeah, definitely learn every day, and I don't take it for granted. I always tell people I love what I do for a living. I don't have to work.
No, it's true. And your dad obviously is a wealth of knowledge. Other than your dad, is there somebody else that, is just you'll call up and say, hey, how do you work through this? Or do you have a mentor?
Well, as you know, we stand up there with the services. So I always talk to John. I've learned a lot from him just by standing there. I'll pick his brain, and just by talking, not even really like direct questions, just speaking to him, I'm registering the knowledge, right?
Me too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So that's always a plus, and that's where I go usually because he's right there. You can't get any better than a Kentucky Derby winning trainer right next to you. Yeah,
Speaking of Derby winning trainers, we just lost a good one in D. Wayne Lucas. Your thoughts on him?
He's the OG. He's the one that started the Super Barns, and he was the first superstar, the first trainer that I can remember that had the glasses and looked very Hollywood and had the big stable. So yeah, he made his presence known, and where he's going to be missed. He was really cool to watch.
Did you get a chance to talk to him when he came to Parks?
I spoke to him only like twice at Parks, just briefly, like, hi, sir, I'm Danny, nice to meet you. He was very pleasant. But that's it. No, nothing crazy, but it was just nice to meet him. Well, it was nice to have him here at Parks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he impacted the game so much. Well, we got to talk about your experience in the Kentucky Derby. You didn't win, but you still got to run. It was kind of last minute you guys got in. What was that whole experience like, if you could summarize it?
It was a whirlwind. Running it back, I wish I had a little more time to take it in. Everything happened so quick. We got the phone call, hey, you want to come? It was like, okay. It was amazing.
Break my arm.
Break my arm. But everybody tends to forget it was still during COVID. So the Churchill Downs still had limited space for people, I guess, or whatever. There was still a big crowd, but they limited to a certain amount. So they didn't let it get to capacity. So it was a little lax compared to other derbies. But nonetheless, it still had the same vibe. And the whole walk up was insane. It was like a blur, like especially when you walk up to the paddock from the barn. Yeah. I don't remember it. It was just such a. I was just like in awe that my brain blew up, and yeah, you always wish to get back there, and but you just got to work and keep buying babies, I guess, right? you know that.
Danny, you're big in the aftercare, and I remember a horse that I did a feature on back a little bit ago on Sir Sydney. Tell us about Sir Sidney and what he meant to your barn.
Sir Sidney was one of my first horses when I first started training, and he was one of those horses that no matter how broke I felt, when I ran him, he always showed up. And he not necessarily had to win, but he would finish second or third, just picking up a check, paying my bills. And so he was the type of horse that just kept me going every time. And then when I found out he was going to be either retired or sent somewhere else, I immediately found the owner and bought him and retired him because he deserved it, especially because he would dig me out, I dug him out, and I still get updates from a woman that has him.
That's awesome.
So it's really cool. Yeah.
I did the feature on him and you, and I dug it up in my archive, so I want to show that to the fans. So let's take a look at that right now.
Sometimes in life, a person, place, or thing can make all the difference. For Parks trainer Danny Velazquez, that thing was a horse named Sir Sidney.
16th out, Sir Sidney, 2.5, almost 3, and it will be Sir Sidney coast to coast.
He was a horse that I enjoyed training. He had a big personality in the barn, just a war horse.
For some trainers, success or failure is a week-to-week endeavor, especially when you're first starting out. Velazquez, the son of a Parks Hall of Famer, Freddie Velazquez, knew training horses was his future. But could he win enough to feed his family?
I would worry about payroll, I would worry about the feed bills, I would worry about just random, home bills. I think I just might have had my daughter at the time. And he always came through, whether it was winning or seconds or thirds, and that's picking up a check. And I always said he was my little ATM. Every time I needed a little bump, I would run him and he would come through for me. And he really pulled me out of some dark places. Financially, spiritually, I felt really, really bonded to him.
Sir Sidney was a claiming horse, so it could be taken away to a new barn after any race by another trainer. That was the case in 2018.
It stinks, obviously, because you don't want to lose your horses. But I always made sure I had him in my virtual stable, always kind of followed his career. And once I saw that he was kind of at the end of the road, I made the decision of trying to buy him privately and retiring him. I literally wrote the check out, gave it to the guy, turned around and put him and turned him for home. I saw pictures of him online and I freaked out. I was like, that's my war horse. I love him,
Lift your shoulders.
This is Sir Sidney now, thriving off the racetrack and working in his second career, helping young equestrians learn to ride in Macon, Georgia.
I am Sir Sidney's new owner. I call him Jonas. I bought him a couple of years ago. I found him with our trainer, Aubrey Graham. Shout out Kiwi Sport Horses and Aubrey Graham. She's fantastic. She helped ultimately connect us and made sure that he was a really good fit for me. These days we do some low-level eventing and we have goals to go to our first dressage shows this year. So he is very well loved and cared for, and he will stay here forever.
That just goes to show you that once a horse leaves the racetrack, that they can find other careers and unwind and really just fall into another life. And I'm very proud of him. I see that he's helping little girls learn how to ride. I see that he's doing jumps. I see that he just looks great, and his new owners absolutely love him. I spoke to him and they're in love with him. So that's like the reason why I retired him. You don't always get that happy ending, but I'm glad we did, and it's awesome to see. And the program works great.
Good. And then from your lower leg to your knee, to your thigh.
A job well done by all. Turning for home for helping Sir Sidney find a new place to thrive. Marilyn Kilchrist from Morgan View Farm for giving him a new home and a second career. And of course our trainer, Danny Velazquez. We're appreciating how important this thoroughbred is and always will be to the Velazquez family.
He was a big, good-looking horse and a little tough to train too. Always ran off with the riders. He was a handful, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I would take a whole barn full of Sir Sidneys right now if people offered me him. I would take him in a heartbeat, 100%.
I know.
It's what gives you the groove.
So this is a high energy business. How do you unwind after a race day, a race week, or like what do you do to like get your mind right?
For the longest time, I was big in the MMA and UFC and going to train there, but I stopped doing that, and now I just go to the gym and explode there. Really,
gym.
Yeah. And I'd like to day trade, believe it or not. I'm a little bit of a dork.
A little dabble.
Yeah, a little dabble in day trading, and I can lose my money. I figure if I can lose in horse racing, I might as well lose it there too.
You've given me some tips.
I try,
I know you're big into your children. I see them all the time on Facebook. Tell us about them.
Oh, they're my world. I got two boys that are going to be 9 in August, twin boys, and my daughter's 12, and they're the best. They play sports. They're good kids. They're smart. The boys are straight A's. I think they must get that from their mother. And my daughter, she's super sassy and super smart, and they're just cool kids. They're good kids, which makes me proud. They're good-hearted, which means more than anything. I always tell them, just be a good person. Be a good person. That's the most important value I can give you. Just be a good human being, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
Right.
I've seen you grow a lot, and yeah, looking forward to getting some cool babies out there. And it's been a lot of fun talking to
Yeah,
you. You and your barn, you guys have a great team. I know it's a lot of teamwork. You
yeah.
guys do a good job.
100%. It's always a good teamwork. And, you know, you go out there every day and it's not always positive. There's a lot of ups and downs and peaks and valleys, but you just tell yourself it's going to come back. It's going to come back. And it's the only reason I wake up every day is because I know it'll eventually turn again. And if I could do it once or twice, I could do it again, right? It'll click again. So I'm not worried.
All right. Well, Danny, thanks for joining us on Gate to Wire. Appreciate it.
Thanks
Take
for
care,
having
buddy.
me. Love you guys.
Love you too, Danny. See you on the
Yep.
rail.